Awesome. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us today. This is the third in the series of webinars I did this summer with ACCES. And today's topic is as old as human relationships themselves and as new as the latest social media phenomenon, professional networking. Um, in 2020 and 2021, and maybe a bit beyond, networking during the COVID-19 pandemic, when professionals have been working remotely and doing everything remotely, it's taken a little bit of a different turn. So you may be familiar with in-person networking. We're trying to talk a little bit about some effective techniques as we go along. So things we'll cover. We're going to take a dive into various topics in this presentation. So what is networking? Why do we do it? What does it entail and why is it worth your time? Then we'll cover some common excuses for people have for not networking. And if we know networking is important, what's stopping us from doing more of it and how can we overcome those hurdles? We'll help in setting a networking strategy. We'll talk in detail about online networking and how to get the most out of it with a specific focus on LinkedIn. We'll cover in-person networking. It definitely is important and it will be back at some point. Maybe not, in the next, 6 months, but maybe next year or the year beyond. You're developing an elevator pitch, asking for assistance, and a few mistakes to avoid. So what is a network? It's a group or system of interconnected people or things. So examples of this, a group of broadcasting stations that connect for a simultaneous broadcast of a program, a number of interconnected computers, and a group of people who exchange information, contacts, and experience for professional or social purposes, a support network. So just as things can be connected, so can people. And this is the third example that we're going to be focusing on today. So professional networking can be simply defined as making connections, making connections with people who might be able to help you with a new job opportunity or help you advance your career. So maintaining an active network is essential and critical at every stage of your career, whether you're seeking a new job, advancement in your current role, developing your new skills, or expanding your connection base. It's essentially a simple idea when you get down to it. It's getting help from people versus absolute strangers. At the same time, professional networking is all about finding ways to help others. So paying it forward by offering your own advice or connections to your contacts. Not only do you help someone out, but you increase the likelihood that someone's going to repay that favor down the road. And networking isn't about hobnobbing or name dropping or kissing up. It's about a long-term process of establishing and nurturing beneficial connections with professionals, relationships who share common goals and interests. So why network? It's essential for moving ahead. It's a great tool in your job search. Members of your network may alert you to open positions that haven't been advertised widely or at all. They may know of an internal posting at their organization that you might be a fit for, that they could refer you directly to the hiring manager, directly to HR, and hopefully moving your resume to the top of the pile. Networking is, not about imposing on anyone. The connections you make, benefit both parties, but you want to be able to nurture those and be prepared one day to give, some help or guidance or advice to someone else. It's a great way to build new skills and knowledge. Networking contacts are resources for information that you can't learn on the job or school. Maybe there's an area you want to get into, and this is a good way to learn about it. Can make your job easier. It can keep you motivated and informed. Your network can provide an avenue to learning and accomplishing tasks faster and more efficiently. And your network can serve as an excellent checkpoint. A lot of us have work dilemmas that we face on a day-to-day basis, whether it's office politics, working with a really tough boss, dealing with layoffs within the organization. We're short-staffed, we're burnt out. And, guidance and advice and sounding board from your network can provide keys to overcoming these hurdles. These, maybe things you're not comfortable discussing with your boss. And keeping in mind, network plays an even more important role as you move up the ranks and others and play a key supporting role in your career success and that of those in the future. So excuses. Um, I'm sure we have lots of them. There's a lot of gain from meeting new people and developing relationships with them. So it seems simple enough, but definitely we hear a lot of these. I don't have time. So between personal and work commitments, who has who has time to spend, a couple of hours at an in-person event, a meet and greet, even something online. The good news is you can often incorporate networking into your everyday activities, especially during non-pandemic times. So right now we're, have a lot of restrictions still, and may still, over the months to come. But there's a chance you might see someone in the grocery store, at a medical appointment you go to, when you're walking in your neighborhood, where you just stop to have a quick chat. You never know who you're going to meet. I know I sometimes go to a grocery store that I bump into someone I used to work with. And we always have a quick chat with masks these days if I do see them. So definitely you never know where you're going to be connecting. I don't have the right personality. You might be shy and not used to contacting strangers or introducing yourself, but facing your fears of appearing too pushy or feeling judged, you just need to get out there and start. And it's going to get easier the more you do it. And I don't know the right people. Your next door neighbor might not be able to offer you a job, but he might know someone that can. Your online networks, you may just be 1 or 2 degrees of separation from the right person. So there's a lot to gain from meeting new people and developing new relationships. So a lot of times people don't network because they don't need a job. You don't want to wait until you're out of a job to reach out to people. You want to check in with your established contacts. You want to work to meet new people, whether you're happily employed or looking for a position. We've definitely seen in this last year and a half, many people who were laid off during this time and all of a sudden, find themselves on the job search, even if they've been in a role for, 15, 20 years. You just never know when you might need your network. I don't want to bug people. Even if they can be good source of information, it can be hard to approach, but you want to give it some forethought, respect and common courtesy. And most people enjoy helping others. So, don't be afraid to reach out. And I don't know anybody who can help me. A job lead or useful information can come from anyone. So you don't want to minimize your chances by underestimating potential value of those. You might learn something about an industry you're interested in. They don't have to be in a hiring position or a hiring manager. Consider everyone as an opportunity to network. So overcoming some networking roadblocks. You want to be realistic. Recognize that networking does not have to result in an immediate rewards. Rewards of successful networking are obviously are very often harvested in the future. You want to break down big goals. So tackle large goals bit by bit. For example, when in-person networking events are possible again, set a goal of attending 1 networking event per month or 1 virtual event per month. Perhaps it's scheduling a coffee that might be virtual right now with a new acquaintance, or sending out 5 personal messages to contacts through social media. That can be via LinkedIn. Small steps can, eventually lead to a big difference. And document your progress and results. Have a visual reminder of the goals and what you've done to achieve them, the results along the way. Track your goals, whether that's in a journal, it's in an Excel spreadsheet, it's on a bulletin board, so that what you're achieving and rewarding yourself. This keeps you motivated and productive to keep at it. So setting a networking strategy. So like goals, there's a desire to build a professional network must start from somewhere. If you don't start with a plan, it'll be more difficult to accomplish anything. So establishing your networking goal. The goal could be as simple as just starting to network. Maybe you've never done it before. Maybe as specific as developing new contacts within financial services, if that's the area that you're in. Are you looking to build a professional reputation? Are you, many people on this webinar today are probably looking to relocate to a new city if they have not already done so. Is it finding a job? Is it staying up to date on industry news, and creating a contact list. Think of as many people you already have as part of your network. This can include friends, relatives, roommates from when you were in uni or college, business acquaintances, former employers, employees, alumni contacts from, the institutions that you've been involved in. You probably already have a fairly diverse network when you're moving from overseas. Many other individuals have moved from overseas, and that sort of maybe a warm contact. These people might work in a variety of fields or different stages in their career and in various areas. And you can manage this list, via email contacts, an address book, LinkedIn, or other methods. You want to use something that works for you. So online networking, social media. So once we've set up a strategy, we want to get down to the next steps. So we're going to talk a little bit about online networking. So social media has transformed for sure networking, and going online has become one of the easiest and most effective ways to do so. And this was even before we had the pandemic. You could often argue connecting with others via the internet is the first thing that pops into people's heads when they think of networking nowadays. And with so many people continuing to work from home or in hybrid situations with physical distancing and masks, this continues to be a very popular way of networking. Even if people have vaccines, not everybody is comfortable with in-person meetings. So a Robert Half survey asked asked hiring managers how job seekers can stand out from a crowd and land a job. And the top response was 49% of candidates to network on social media with current employees of the company of interest. So this may be via LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And the second runner-up was 47% of candidates to provide access to online portfolios and websites. LinkedIn is definitely, of the social media, by far the most popular professional networking site in use today. It's a natural choice if you're looking to connect with, your former colleagues, bosses, post industry updates, and be searching for jobs. Many other people use Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the same purpose, but not everybody's comfortable connecting on those sites with coworkers or work contacts or those in their network. Essentially, every site offers a different opportunity to reach a wide audience, but different purposes and different contexts. And some might consider them more for personal use as opposed to professional. But remember, these days, you are what you tweet, you are what you share on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram via your pictures, or you post on your website. And people are able to search for that information. So make sure your network is going to like what they see when they do research on you, and always expect someone to potentially go out and just Google you. If you've not Googled yourself up to now, I highly encourage you to do that, and do it on a regular basis so you know what's out there. And consider using chosen social media channels to share links to interesting content that you find, comment on events. You can write your own content as well, but you want to keep up with it, even in a small way, because it can definitely help boost your networking efforts to keep your name in people's minds as opportunities come up. So keeping your online networking active. Social media can help you in terms of identifying contacts. They can be people with whom you have a relationship or share common interests. Sometimes you might get some suggested contacts. You can easily leverage existing contacts to find new ones. You may be able to see who people in your network are linked to and ask for introductions, but don't be disappointed if someone says no, because sometimes, there might be a reason behind it. And you want to build a relationship, because someone may not be comfortable with an introduction if they've not yet even gotten to know you and there's a relationship there. Social media sites can provide a forum for staying in contact with people easily, regardless where they are in the world. And you want to build a personal brand and become a regular and valued contributor. And you can access these sites via any device, whether this is your computer, your smartphone, or tablet. So online networking, you want to make sure you have a complete profile. Keep up with the competition by using this time to make sure your profile is complete, current, and in sterling shape. Same goes for your resume, cover letter, and digital portfolio if you have one, because you never know when an opportunity to submit that for an opportunity arises. Provide as much information in your profile as you can. You are able to put some privacy features into it in case you just want people in your network to be able to see certain things. So that's up to you to decide. But things you might want to be including in your LinkedIn, your professional summary, your work history, your education, if possible, add key accomplishments so others get a clear picture of your capabilities. Make sure when adding your work history, you're adding proper dates and titles that not only match your resume, but also match what's on file if someone is to go do a reference check with your former organization. You also want to be adding a picture. A personal photo adds legitimacy. It confirms that you're, if you've got a common name like Mary Jones, that you're the Mary Jones that they're looking for. The image can be casual, but you want to make sure it's still professional. So you don't want to maybe have, your sunglasses on or on your head and, or maybe in the beach in, really casual attire. So think about the photo that you're using. You want to prioritize quality over quantity. So don't invite strangers to your network merely in hopes to make it larger. And don't be offended when those you've never met or vaguely know and ignore your request. Your network is only as strong as your weakest connection. Be a joiner. LinkedIn and Facebook offers many groups for people who share certain passions and interests. These can be valuable assets to keeping pace with new developments in your field. Yeah, you can even set up your own groups as well. So not even joining, but inviting other people to join you. So for example, participating in professional groups. You want to provide useful information and input. Avoid sending direct messages to fellow group members unless you've established a personal connection beforehand. Contributing to a professional online community or forum or joining virtual conferences when you can't get out in person helps you to build your digital presence and business relationships. So look at websites of industry organizations to see who's offering virtual events, conferences, ones that may offer breakout rooms that allow a smaller group of attendees to network. You want to see if you're, an accountant, you might go to the CPA website. If you're a CFA, you might look at theirs to see what's on the go. And reconnecting with previous colleagues, checking in with former managers, and expanding your network by joining online alumni communities. So one of the groups for sure that I am in on LinkedIn are the post-secondary education institutions that I've done some degrees as well as certificates at. So, you can build your network around others in the industry. Obviously, these connections are important, but, you want to, expand your network into other relevant industries. So, you don't miss out. Right now, consider these online conferences and workshops for sure. And you want to take in mind when you're on these is, the social media etiquette and connecting remotely. I'm old school. I love the phone. When I started working, there was no email, no internet as there is today. So it's an easy and popular way to connect remotely, even on video calls or the old-fashioned telephone. People are using video calls to keep in touch. Definitely has increased during the pandemic. It's great, if you're on video and you can connect with that person, especially if it's one-on-one or a smaller group. And you can have a fairly easy conversation. And it's a major plus. I think it really helps build those relationships. And other options are available too, might be just a message or instant messaging. But hopefully at some point you'll be able to meet these people within an in-person environment. So now we're going to talk a bit about LinkedIn. It's the world's largest professional networking site. So many people are joining it. People that don't even, are fans of social media are on LinkedIn. It's designed for professional networking rather than just keeping in touch with your friends, posting photos. This is your way to connect with a lot of different people that you've met, that you've worked with, or people that you hope to know in the future. So here are some fun facts around LinkedIn. Total number of global members as of 2021, 722 plus million. There's 24 languages representative, and number of monthly active users are 675 million So quite huge, a number of people. Make sure if you're on LinkedIn, especially if you're, sending out requests and connecting with people, that you're actively checking in on that on a regular basis. For me, I'm in it daily, except maybe on the weekends, and definitely not when I'm on vacation. But definitely you want to make sure if you're active and you're trying to grow this network that you're keeping on top of your inbox, requests, etc. So the power of your profile. Every member gets to create their own personalized page. So this is where you get to tell everyone what you're about. With a strong profile, you can promote your personal brand and create a strong professional image. So here we have Jonathan Jacobson, editor-in-chief, content marketing. You can see their profile. And having a current and complete profile is essential, as traditional resumes are sometimes being replaced by professionals on networking sites like LinkedIn. And you definitely still need a resume, even though I'm saying that. But this allows your LinkedIn profile allows you to passively look for jobs. Employers can easily find you when they're searching for professionals with your qualifications. So you might not even be thinking about something new, but you never know where you might get approached. On your LinkedIn profile page, you want to provide a career summary, describe your current job, past positions, skills and expertise, education, organization, any group affiliations, professional interests, awards, your volunteer work, even, some one-off courses you've taken, you can add in there. You can provide additional materials such as your blog, industry-specific articles you may have written, organizations you belong to, testimonials that are written by colleagues. I know from my own, I've done some of these ACCESS webinars in the past. So I've added some of the links, the YouTube links to my profile. So if someone's to go there later on and maybe were not able to attend or didn't know these happen, they are able to find them. So don't make this mistake. It's important to treat LinkedIn different than other social media. In a recent Robert Half survey, hiring managers said that one of the top blunders job seekers makes is having an unflattering or embarrassing online presence. So LinkedIn is one of the first places potential employers may see you. So make sure everything from your profile photo to your activity throughout your site is on a professional level. So LinkedIn provides you plenty of opportunities to add wow factor to your profile. So suggestions for creating a powerful profile, building a base of followers, and getting noticed. So telling a story. Everyone loves a good story. For the summary section, you can draft a clear and concise description of your professional skills, your experience, your achievements. Think about the elements of your background that will capture people's attention. You don't need to outline your entire career history here, only the most compelling aspects, maybe focused on the type of role and area you want to get into and where you have expertise. Write a short paragraph covering your top capabilities and career highlights. Make sure you use concise, attention-grabbing language that make you stand out in a crowd. You want to fill out the fields. LinkedIn enables you to create a complete digital resume. So this includes work experience, job skills, certification, education, and interests. And using keywords. You want employers to be able to find you. So incorporate relevant keywords into your summary, into your description of the positions you've had. You can get endorsed for skills. LinkedIn members can conduct searches for others to connect based on many options. So keywords, company name, job title, location, group membership, where they went to school. So increasing the odds of an employer recruiting finding you by using search terms will help with that. And building an online portfolio. On LinkedIn, you can add the external links. So this was me talking about the links I've added to mine. If you have a blog, a website, any other online work, you can post those URLs to your page. It also enables you to create an online portfolio to tout your latest accomplishments. You can upload media such as documents, photos, videos, presentations. So some additional tips to helping put your best foot forward. So you want to be truthful. Resume padding doesn't work well in the digital era. Anyone can come across this info and refer it back. So you want to make sure it's accurate. Get a picture. Profiles with photos are viewed more often. Posting a picture adds legitimacy, confirms your identity. It's also the first impression an employer has of you. So you want to choose a photo where you're dressed professionally in a neutral setting, frame the shot from head to shoulders, make sure you're the only person in the picture. So LinkedIn, you could, do some cropping if you need to. And maybe, if maybe not try to take a selfie, maybe see if you can have someone take a photo. I think it's always better to even smile in the photo. I hate when you have to get your passport photo and your driver's license photo updated and you don't smile. So I think it's just, you want to, convey warmth and have that come across. Adding a personal touch. Well, you don't want to share too much. Adding a few details of your personal interests helps an employer get to know you as a person. So for example, you might be your favorite charities, mentioning your hobbies, interests, activities. So whether that's skiing, reading, adventure travel. If you're fluent in other languages, include that in there. And you want to say established, once your presence is established, don't let it grow stale, add new skills and responsibilities, add them to your profile, so that way these updates are showing up and you're remaining top of mind. So asking for recommendations. LinkedIn gives you this opportunity for others to comment on your work. Don't be shy about asking someone to write about a positive experience about working with you. These can be powerful marketing tools, but be strategic, target members that will speak mostly to your knowledge, enthusiasm, and help, persuade about your skills, qualifications, and work ethic. You want to write a personalized note about why you're asking for that endorsement. And, if someone says no, don't take that personally. Sometimes, people might not be able to write those, as part of employment things. So definitely. And if someone's asking you for an endorsement, you might want to help, with writing them a recommendation or endorsing them for some skills. But yeah, like I said, some employee policies do not allow for references or endorsements. So please don't take it personally. So adding a personal touch, this is super important. I get a lot of LinkedIn invitations. I'm more likely to look first at ones that send me a personalized invite, as opposed to I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn, or we seem to have a lot of connections, because sometimes some people will write that and we actually have no connections. And then, I will take my time to look through the other ones I get, and I may not accept them all if something doesn't seem relevant. Sometimes I will know automatically why someone's starting to wanting to connect with me based on their professional background, but sometimes it's not that straightforward. So you might want to, in a networking situation, you met someone at an event or a virtual event and you decide to send them a note and say, hi, David, it was great meeting you last night at the networking event. I'd love to add you to my network and continue to stay in touch and discuss, it could be something you discussed at the event prior to that. Would you respond to this one that you see with no note or with another note? You can also personalize your URL, so making it easy to share, remember, and include it in your business card or resume. So my LinkedIn URL is my first and last name together, so you'll be able to find that to be able to connect with me. But I might include that even on my personal emails outside of my work one, just for friends to connect in with me, or some volunteer work I do, and individuals might connect with me there as well. So LinkedIn, as we discussed a bit earlier, join groups to expand your network and stay in the know about your field. So here are a few examples of them. LinkedIn has groups for people who share the same professional passion. So for example, if you're in the anti-money laundering space, there's some great groups, and they can help you keep a finger on the pulse of your field. This could be, accounting professionals, payroll professionals, and they're, posting about certifications or changes. And it's maybe a great way to boost your career profile and meet like-minded professionals and to continue to develop those relationships for future. But you can also join other groups that, maybe there's areas you just want to learn and expand your knowledge. And, once you're in there, start to find the content, comment on it. So consistently add value. Aim for 2 to 4 posts per week. Posting frequently, this can be sharing career related updates, post to links to pertinent information, articles, responding to contacts who have asked questions. Posting content on a regular basis keeps you top of mind. It establishes you, as an expert in your field and increases your visibility. Also helps you to offer an opinion, ask thought-provoking questions that invites comments and engagement. How often should you share? Some people post daily. If that's too daunting, this 2 to 4 times a week is definitely a great idea. You may not want to post too much in a day because that might annoy your contacts. As a recruiter, I'm often posting, depending on the day, I might post a couple different roles. I might post nothing on a day. It really depends. If I'm looking for candidates for a role, I might be posting quite a bit. So LinkedIn has some other features that can help move your career in the right direction. LinkedIn video is available. It's easy to use and enables you a way to start conversations with followers in up close and personal way. After you post the videos, you can see who's viewing them. LinkedIn provides you details that include top companies, titles, location of your viewers. Additionally, informs you of how many views, likes, comments you're receiving. So these are some great insights. And LinkedIn Career Advice enables members to connect with mentorship opportunities. This might be valuable if you're looking for a job, changing industries, or working on a challenging project. So go to your profile page, find the Career Advice Hub, and indicate the kind of advice you're wanting to give or receive. And LinkedIn then provides a list of possible matches based on mutual interests and professional backgrounds. So overall, online networking tips: saying please and being respectful. If you want an introduction, you definitely want to be polite and explain why you're hoping to meet. Think twice before you say yes. When members of your network request introductions to other contacts, don't immediately agree, particularly if you don't know the person. As I was saying before, you want to take time to consider that, because your reputation's online. If your contact ends up being someone that's bugging that individual a lot, it will reflect on you. Making connections clear. Too often people connect without thinking. When seeking a new contact, remind someone how you know them if it's been a while since you've connected. So you might reference a conference you both attended in the pandemic, or you worked together 10 years ago at so-and-so company. And take no for an answer. When trying to connect with someone, once is enough. There's no need to bombard them with repeated requests. At the same time, keep in mind, some people may not want to connect with you. Try not to take it personally. People might use different criteria to build their online social networks, and they also might not be regular users. I know people that don't log into LinkedIn for many, many months. They may not, the role that they're doing, they may not be working right now. This may not be a priority. So managing your online network, helps you locate and connect with people all over the world. But the worst thing is about it is you can connect with anyone almost all over the world. So it might be difficult to determine, who to let in your network and who not. Bigger isn't always better. It might be beneficial to have 10 contacts really well than 100 that you don't know at all and really aren't helping you and you can't build relationships with. So not everyone subscribes to this philosophy, and you may not either. So, you need to think about what works best for you. Whatever, you set guidelines to building a network that meets your needs the best. And you may decide to add a person to your network only if you've interacted with them in person, or you might open it up to connections of connections. So if you have a network via video, here are some tips that can help. So you always, similar to an online video interview, you want to test your technology. So with a friend, family member, at least day or two ahead of time. So whether you're using Zoom or Microsoft Teams or WebEx or various different technologies. And use the same platform that you're going to use for the interview or the video networking. So making sure it works well. Ideally, maybe a laptop or tablet, avoid the smartphone if possible, but sometimes that might be all you have, or potentially at the time that you're doing it. And you want to join early to make sure to troubleshoot any issues. And checking the audio, lighting, and the Wi-Fi. And similar, you want to make sure that you're dressed appropriately. So just as similar an interview, you probably want to be somewhat dressed up. Maybe, you're not in a suit, but be professionally dressed up, if that means doing your hair or makeup, or, you want to have the confidence. You want to have good lighting. Natural lighting works best. And you want to make sure, similar to an interview, that you have a clutter-free background. These are just as important because this networking potentially might lead you to an interview. So very important to take it seriously. Making eye contact in video interviews, your natural tendency to look at the other person's face, to you when you're looking at them in the eye, but when they see you, you're looking down. And I'm still trying to master this on my video calls. So especially when they're talking, spend most of the time looking right into the camera. Then you'll be looking them in the eye, establishing a stronger connection with them doing so. And I think this is going to take a bit of practice. And, when you sit for a video networking event or interview, maintaining a professional posture, as if you're in a chair across from them. And your facial expressions will still convey your interest and engagement when someone else is talking. So online networking tips. Act quickly on requests. Patience is a virtue, but not everyone possesses it, especially online. Try to respond, as promptly as possible, if possible within 24 hours. And I know that's not always the case. And I know for me, that's not always the case. Keeping it professional, think before posting and don't post too often or on trivial subjects. Your aim is to become a trusted authority. Someone comes to, as a subject matter expert. I mean, it's okay to share, personal interests of athletics or hobbies if you want, but you want to make sure you're doing so in a professional manner. So making a big impact with small gestures, pay attention to what people are saying or working on, offer helpful suggestions, maybe send them a useful article you've seen, or just leave a comment. Letting your network know they're heard and understood. You can also share insights, offer introductions. This may take only like a minute of effort, but can maybe be profound in building those relationships. If you see someone get a new job, put a like on their profile, say congratulations, if that's someone you know. You want to, having mutual contacts sometimes makes it easier to meet new people, but name dropping can sometimes backfire. So make sure that you have that person's permission first. And you don't want to misrepresent the relationship with a shared contact that might damage credibility for both parties. And being upfront, formally introduce yourself when reaching out to someone you don't know. If you don't have contacts in common, don't say you do. Maybe explain how you found them, and spell out your reason for writing. So avoiding online networking mistakes. Don't send mass broadcasts. You're more likely to be successful if you send targeted, personalized messages to your network first before you cast a wider net. Similar if you're sending an email. Sometimes people will send emails that they're looking for a job and maybe they've meant to blind carbon copy, but all of a sudden there's 20 people on the to line of different organizations. So you definitely don't want to send that. Make sure to keep an eye on it. Don't have it be one-sided. An all about me approach won't get you very far. Networking sites allow you to ask for help from members of your network quickly and easily, but don't abuse the privilege with constant requests. And don't forget to thank those who lend you a hand and return the favor in the future, or they may never help you again. And don't make your online your sole networking strategy. I mean, right now, this is definitely where it's focused. But once we're able to, this should not replace traditional networking such as in-person, face-to-face meetings, coffee meetings, video and telephone calls. May be okay for now, but you definitely want to get in front of people. It's so important. So we'll talk a bit about in-person networking. It's a highly effective way to cultivate business contacts and relationships and maybe help you land a new job. I think it just helps build rapport and relationships better. And definitely take more time and effort, but the payoff is worth it. So maybe, as we were saying earlier, developing some goals that you identified. Maybe I'm going to go to one in-person networking event a month. Perhaps I'm going to try to meet one person for coffee every week when things are open up. So you might be giving some thought to that, now. And, right now there's going to be a lot of people that, people are meeting up, but not everybody is, and not everybody's going to be comfortable. And you definitely need to respect that. So when networking in person, you'll need to make your point quickly. So you hear about the elevator pitch. So 30-second description of who you are and what you are looking for professionally. It's not your life story. It's just your bottom line. So, we always get that question. Tell me about yourself. So you want to be prepared. You don't want to wing it. So give some thought to, if you're in a situation where, you go to an in-person event and someone asks you about yourself, what are you going to say? Practice, practice, practice. So if you're not comfortable, if you've gone to some events in the past, and you're like, this has gone so poorly, make sure that, you're thinking about developing a strong pitch if you're to be able to meet someone. So some additional tips for the networking in person, choosing the right events. So formal networking events, are structured to make it easy for you to meet people, even if you don't do well at casual conversations. So, novices may find these groups more successful. So one I can think of is sometimes the Chamber of Commerce. I've been to a few of their events, like breakfast or lunch events, where you're sitting at a table and they create opportunities for you to connect. And that might be more comfortable for someone that's just starting out. If you're in a particular field, you want to maybe look at those industry organizations and see what happens. Breakfasts are a great way to kick off the day and be part of a networking event, but they also have a limited amount of time. So it's a great way to just sort of start and maybe gain your comfort level. You might be going to conferences later. You might be going to training sessions, and these are a great way. Sometimes hello is a great way. Hi, I'm so-and-so. Nice to meet you. Try to find out a bit about what you're going to beforehand. So you're prepared for any conversation. So even if that's something personal, like a networking, not only networking, but a friend's party that you might attend in the future, a wedding, and understand the role of small talk. It helps put people at ease, makes you approachable. You might not learn a lot from it, but start small. And eventually that might segue into a more in-depth conversation. So in-person networking events, make sure that, it's not all about you. People love to talk about themselves. So you maybe ask them what they do, what brought them to the event, what their interests are, about their career. They're likely to be flattered and likely want to share. So this applies to not only networking, but other events that you go to, including online. Introduce people. So introducing people at networking functions is a great way to help your contacts, as well as start interesting conversations. So, this is Jane. She just got back from Australia. I know that you loved Australia if you know the person. Can help get the conversation rolling. Get a business card, and more business cards are going to be virtual. You might just be able to connect via LinkedIn right there in real time, and then you can pop a personal note. Or, the QR codes that people are using. So definitely make sure, and it's always great to maybe document after the event. You met someone, jot down a few notes about them. So perhaps that's, their child's just off to university, or they're expecting a new baby, or they're about to start a new job, something that you can ask about when you touch base the next time. And it's a good idea to follow up with new people you meet soon after an event. You want to have the connection be fresh, so they're more likely to accept it. Maybe that's a quick email, a phone call, LinkedIn invite. And if you really click, perhaps that's an invitation to maybe meeting up subsequently for a coffee. So asking for assistance, the more you help, the more you're likely to get help. So you want to lay the groundwork for that. Be specific when you're making requests, and that way they know what you're looking for, and the person that you're asking assistance for can make a decision. And always show appreciation. Don't feel that anything's too small, but a personal note, maybe it's, a small token you've sent, maybe it's a coffee card to a local coffee shop, but always make sure to show thanks and reciprocate the offer. This is how you build strong relationships. So networking mistakes, not asking for help. This is very, very common. People usually are willing to help if they're asked. So don't be afraid to ask, I'd love your help with. And you see these on LinkedIn where people are asking help, to their network, very out there for everybody to see. At the same, you don't want to over ask. Be reasonable in your requests, offer them time. It might be fine to ask for an introduction to a person, but maybe it's not okay to ask for someone to rewrite your resume or revamp your website for free. And not keeping in touch. You want to make sure you're keeping in touch and, with that person and developing a relationship, and not just, asking them out of the blue for help. So make sure that you have a system to doing so. And you don't want to burn bridges. If someone's helped you land the job, and when you, and when you reach out, you don't hear anything. This is a classic mistake that, harms a relationship. So never be too busy to help out those in your network. If you're swamped, reply immediately to tell them, you've got, some things on the go and you're not able to, help them at this point. Happy to connect. If you're not, just be honest about it. Don't abuse the connections. Don't ask a new connection for a big favor if you've been connected only for a little while. You want to establish rapport and trust. And I know I get some requests who are asking for stuff and I have no relationship to them. Give to receive. Tend to your network and they'll, tend to you. The best networks are responsive, reliable, and resourceful. Proofread. Follow the rules of good writing in your messages and bios. Use professional language. I don't know how many times I get something and says, please look at my profile, or it's in my resume. Make sure that, you're having professional dialogue with those that you're looking to build your network with or your job search. Be discreet. Oversharing might not be the right thing, so protect your reputation in combination with good judgment and privacy settings. So next steps, staying motivated and sticking with it, but you might pair up with a friend or two to work together on networking efforts. Perhaps these are people that, have a similar background to you. You can encourage each other and offer support. Keep your sense of humor. Networking is basically about starting and building relationships, which is always, it's best to enjoy people's company and remember to have fun. And lastly, anyone can network. Really, it's just about connecting with people. So this is either professionally or personally. So thank you for joining today. You'll see my name and my email. So if you wish to send a resume, you can do so to that email address, ideally a Microsoft Word. And please let me know that you attended this session. And then to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can look up my name and you'll be able to find me. And it'd be awesome if you let me know it is from here so I can connect the dots, because often participants in these webinars come from a variety of professional backgrounds and not just the financial services area where I'm focused. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much for this informative webinar. We do have a few questions here, and I encourage everyone to put their questions into the Q&A tab. If people aren't here in Canada yet, but they will be landing soon, is there any sort of certification they should start looking into so that it will help them in their career in Canada?
I know some people have started to pursue some of their academics. So for example, one course I see some people, or two courses I see some people complete in the financial services area, because I think it's remote, is the Canadian Securities course or the IFIC course. So those are often ones people are maybe completing ahead of time. And other people might be working on their, PMP because they maybe have the credits and they're working on the exam. So I think you need to look at your background and where you're looking to work in a career here to see if there's some, requirements you can start to work on prior to your arrival. And whether, yeah, and whether you're allowed to as well, because I don't know if there's restrictions or not.
Thank you. You said about networking and keeping your connections. This person here has been keeping up with their connections without posting anything. Is that good enough, or should they be posting?
Well, I
And
think
Michelle, do you want to continue sharing your screen so we have your information on there?
hold on a second.
Thank you.
Okay, can you see it now?
Not yet, no.
Okay. At this point, can you see it?
No.
Okay. 1 second. Let me just go. Hold on, I'll just have my name there. I'll type my email into the chat.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yes, so if you could answer that one as well. Sorry about interrupting.
I think, posting, is a great idea because, that may help expand your network, for people that aren't in it, for people that are, second connections of your first connections, to get your name out there because, you might have a network of individuals, but you want to always be expanding that. So I think posting is always a great idea.
Thank you. And for people asking if you will get the material, yes, you will get a recording of this webinar sometime tomorrow. And the link that you used to join today, that turns into an on-demand webinar, so you can watch it anytime after the webinar is over. And at the end of the month, all of our webinars are posted onto our YouTube channel. So it looks like we don't have any questions. Oh, we do. There's one here. Could you suggest what we should write to recruiters on LinkedIn when you're trying to connect?
Dear Michelle, I work in financial services, so that's often people trying to connect with me. I'm a financial services professional. I've just moved to Toronto. I'm looking for job opportunities, would love to connect or learn more about the market here. Thank you and best wishes. And your name. But yeah, something that's more than I just like to connect. So yeah, if you're new to here and you're a new job seeker, your intro might be around that. I sent a LinkedIn request the other day. I do a lot of speaking engagements at one of the colleges where I am an alumni too. And I, through some kind of LinkedIn thing, saw a person I'm not connected with that I thought would be a great, just connection. I do a lot of on-site speaking events before COVID. So I just popped them a note saying, I'm involved in the alumni a lot and thought this might be a great connection. So I don't know if they've accepted it or not yet, but just building my network there because I do a lot of, on-site things and have for almost 20 years.
Thank you. And okay, so if you look in your chat, you can see the Michelle's email. You should be able to see it there. If there should be an option here, so it says michelle.hannikanen@roberthalf.com. And then we have another question here. Okay, so the last thing you want to say on LinkedIn is I'm looking for a job. So how do you reach out to someone and try to make a connection? What do you say to them? What are you looking for?
Well, I mean, for me, a lot of people are coming to me because they are looking for work. So that's quite a common thing. You might just be saying, I'm a financial services professional. I'm looking to expand, my network to continue my learning, and something along those lines. Sometimes I'll see some people put posts and they're looking for work. And I think you want to, some of them come across as quite desperate. And I don't know if that's sort of the route you want to go if you're making a post. So, it might just be, I'm a financial service professional. I'm looking for my next opportunity to grow my career, and maybe a little blurb about yourself.
Thank you. So if a recruiter asks you your legal name, what do they mean by that?
So legal name would be the name that's on your social insurance, like on your documents. So for example, if I submit you to a role, my vendor asks for the candidate's legal name. So, all of a sudden, sometimes people will give it, and I won't know if it's their legal name or not, if they've submitted it under, you know, a name on the resume, and we've submitted them to a role and they've submitted all the stuff to me under that. But all of a sudden we get a job offer and there's a different name. So that is probably what they are looking for.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This is all the time we have today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email myself or Michelle. Michelle, is there anything you'd like to add before I move forward?
No, just wishing everybody well. Enjoy, if you're here in Canada already, enjoy these final days of summer. And make sure to keep active on your networking and stuff. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to return to some in-person networking events. I know I do speaking engagements and try to attend networking events from time to time, and it really does help with the relationship building.